Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we turn to talking about the terrible story of a once prominent and major and groundbreaking YouTuber named Jenna Marbles, who now has been forced off this platform because she had some supposedly offensive or racist jokes in her older material. Now, this is something I can identify with a lot here. Of course, I have a YouTube channel. I have multiple channels myself. I've been on the website for around 10 years as well. Admittedly, not nearly as famous as Jenna Marbles. Jenna Marbles is like a staple of YouTube. She has 20 million plus subscribers. She's been around forever. She's made the rounds on the YouTube scene. She knows connections there. She knows all these other channels. That's a big deal. She's on a bigger platform, but even the small guys, even the little channels like us here, we have had to face this kind of criticism, and it gets even worse the further back you go in time, because my show here, NoBS, just started about 4 years ago in 2016, and you can still go back to some of those early videos and see differences in the way things went back then. Things were just more out of control. You could talk more trash, you could say bad things, you could curse, you could make fun of people all you wanted, you could talk about the most insane stuff. Edgy comedy was popular back then. This is like the golden days of YouTube. Like, think about like Filthy Frank. Filthy Frank is another channel that was forced off, just because he realized that kind of non-PC, that kind of very edgy humor doesn't have a place on this platform anymore. Now, with Jenna Marbles, she's a little different. She also has a vlogging style to her channel. She also does like lifestyle videos, like all kinds of stuff on there. So hers is more about her personality, and she was able to transition away from that. But since the internet doesn't forget, since a lot of her videos were previously still up, now she's getting canceled. Now she's coming under fire. Most of it having to do with some kinds of race-based jokes. And there was a few times she wore transracial makeup. Things like that are coming out after her. And it's forced her into this sort of apology video. It's kind of cringe. She had to do this apology where she talks to the camera, kind of shows some of her old jokes and tries to explain them. It really looks like she's a hostage, actually. Like, she looks like she's being forced to say something on camera so that someone will like save her, like in a movie scene, because she just looks really scared, really like beaten and defeated. And it's a big problem in this day and age. We've seen cancel culture really spike up and double down and gain a lot of momentum in the recent history. This summer, there's been a lot of very racialized events, things like this bad arrest gone wrong in Minneapolis. Another one happened in Atlanta. This caused lots of riots and unrest in the streets because those events were racialized. They were race baited and turned into this whole catastrophe we have going on now. What first happened was there was some demonstrations, some protests, some riots. They started tearing down statues, and then it moved on to going after media. Legos couldn't make police officer toys anymore. Movies like Gone with the Wind were taken off of services. Bands started changing their names, and now we've come back to Jenna Marbles. Now YouTubers and other personalities are having old jokes brought up to them and kind of getting them canceled. For more details on this story, let's check the Twitterverse. Here's a picture of Jenna right here. Fine looking lad, very nice girl as far as I could tell. She seems sweet, funny, smart. She has a interesting video. She always has dogs in her video. She has really, really good passion for pets. So, she's hard to hate. That's the problem. I could see why people might want to cancel her, though, because we're in this day and age, anything's up for grabs. And particularly, I think it's worth noting that she's a white girl. Like, that's not helping her right now. She used to have that girl power factor. Feminism might have supported her, but right now it's all about being anti-white. Like, make no mistake, that's what's going on in the media. That's the push in a lot of this cancel culture. It's coming after Caucasians, European descendants. It's all against white people now, and that's proven by a lot of the things they go for, the things they attack, the things they race bait. They're tearing down statues, and it's not all because they're racist statues. It's all because they happen to be white dudes. And this is like a statue, or in this case, a YouTube channel that they're taking down because it's a white chick. That's part of it. And she kind of explains things here. It says in this tweet, it says, in an 11-minute video, the OG YouTuber issued an apology for old content, which grew criticism, including transracial makeup, racist jokes, and more. She also said she was stepping away from YouTube after a decade on the platform. I don't know if it's forever. I don't know how long it's going to be, she said. I just want to make sure the things that I put into the world are not hurting anyone. So definitely defeated, definitely caving in. And I mean, it's hard to blame her. It's like she's already made her money. She's already totally rich, has millions of dollars. I'm sure if she didn't spend it all, she's got a punch in the bank. She could still make money off of that content. that she has on YouTube. The old stuff is probably still getting views too. Granted, she did remove a lot of videos. Like I think half of her videos were removed, which is a lot. This is a 10-year career, a channel that probably uploaded once a week at least, maybe more than that. And so there's a lot of videos there. We're talking about hundreds of videos. She could have more. And she took down half of them, and now she's walking away from YouTube, and that makes sense. It's like I said, this is kind of like Filthy Frank was very similar. He left earlier because his stuff was more controversial, and she just kind of had some off-color jokes in the past. Like I don't even think they're that bad. One of them that I saw in her video was like a joke she made about kung fu, like some kind of joke about Asian people that wasn't really like. I mean, I could see like how they could think someone could be totally uptight and offended by it, but this is just jokes and humor. And then you got to also remember the times, and like if you go back 10 years, comedy was still okay. I mean, believe it or not, but pre 2010, like things were pretty edgy still. Things were funny in the 2000s. There was movies like, Knocked Up, and these 2009 movies like were still edgy. Hangover came out around then. A lot of stuff was still on the cutting edge and still funny. But nowadays, post 2010, more like post 2012 or 2013, once you get to 14 and 15, I mean, that's full blown SJW era. By 2015, Trump had entered the race for president. He obviously won in 2016. And that's when things got like really polarized. Like things went off the chain in 2016 because everyone's fighting everyone. It just got really controversial. I wouldn't blame Trump for it. I think Trump won and we needed him as president, but it did spark a lot of controversy. People wanted to go up against him. People really didn't like the idea of having a white guy president again. I think that was a lot to do with it. And, we just came from Obama and stuff like that. But that's besides the point. Back to Jenna Marbles. Let's see what this says.
About like what girls do and what guys do. And I know at the time there are a lot of people that enjoyed those videos, but I have privated all of them because I don't think that making jokes about your gender is funny. And I know that there's a lot of people that struggle with their identity and that have varying fluid identities or anything. And I just don't want content in the world that's like, I don't know, just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think that this is a broken person, the person that's defeated and kind of been bullied by a lot of the outraged mob. She's gotten the backlash probably for years. It's peaking now. And I think it's just time for her to walk away. Like she's had a long career. Again, like I said, I'm trying not to come against her, even though she is kind of caving in. I wouldn't recommend a move like this. Apologies are never the way to go. But yeah, she tried her best. She made her money. She did her thing. So she's basically kind of just tapping out. Like she doesn't want to do it anymore. That's fine. We don't need to really pity her a ton. Like she's done great work. She's gotten rewarded for it. And the point is, though, she is kind of kowtowing. This is left-wing ideology that's influenced her and kind of destroyed her mind. Like she's talking about gender and saying she can't have jokes about guys and girls anymore. Like how sad is that? How weakened have you become when you can't even make a joke about guys or girls? Like I understand the controversy. I understand that there's a lot of people working against you now, but yeah, I just see exacerbation here. She's really confused about this issue. In this instance, it's about the gender stuff. We talked about how she's also canceled for race-based jokes, but as for the gender stuff, it's like, come on, there's two genders. It's not that complicated. She can't even explain it because she knows she's got to talk about fluidity and all these other alphabets, the T's and the A's and the G's and the B's, all that stuff. And that's just clutter. It's not necessary. Those people are fine without everyone acknowledging them every step of the way. You're not helping like that. This is a bad strategy. But again, I feel bad for her because she's getting bullied off and she tried to have the right side. She tried to have some humor and some kind of edgy jokes that I appreciate. So I'm still in support of her, but she's obviously confused and getting influenced by this SJW nonsense.
I just can't exist on this channel. Some other people aren't having a good time, so for now, I just can't exist on this channel. Hopefully I've taken down anything that would upset someone, and I hope you know that that's just not my intent. That's not what I ever set out to do, to hurt anyone's feelings or to make anyone feel bad.
It's heartbreaking. She really is breaking down a little bit. I believe it. I don't know, it might be a little over the top. I tend to not go along or support people that cry on camera purposely, but she seems genuine. She's sporting a St. Louis sweater, which is a place that I've been born from and come from myself. So I recognize that, and I'll give her props. Like we said, I think we're mostly on her side. Besides a little bit of like, hey, I wish you couldn't cave in. Don't let this stuff infect your mind. Like she needs to get a clearer thought and more realistic view of the world. Like these kinds of politics are poison. They're ruining her setup, and she has to walk away from her channel. But that's probably for the best. She'll probably end up doing something else and being successful again. She's young. She's still got talent and all these skills. So she's gonna be fine. Look at her. She's filming in this big mansion place. I bet that's like some LA swanky house or something. But okay, the point is she's canceled and she's trying not to hurt anyone. And this is just, she has a good intention, but you shouldn't have to take down your videos just in case someone gets offended. Like people are just all so offended, and being offended really isn't as important as people think. Like, oh, whoop-de-doo, like something offended you. Like that's not a good argument. Like you need to just walk away and stop trying to cancel stuff that gets you offended. You need to get confident. We need to start pointing and turning around at the people that are offended all the time and helping them. They need to get stronger. They need to learn to deal with issues and things and seeing things they don't like. We shouldn't be pandering to them and making things worse. That's what's happening. They're just going to get worse because they're just always offended and they're not getting strong. They're not being taught leadership skills and how to cope with things. They're just like, oh, I'm a big baby. Take that away. Take that away. Take that away. Someone made a joke I don't like. Well, if she's making jokes you don't like, you don't have to watch her channel. No one's making you watch this channel on YouTube. No one's making you watch this movie on a streaming service or following this account on Twitter. The whole cancel idea is bunk, and that's the whole moral of today's story. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Also hit that like button to get this thing shared, and until next time, have a great day.